Hello and welcome to our AWS migration series. We will talk about AWS identity and access management in this section. Uh, as usual, very easy to understand. Security is of utmost importance, even on your on-prem data center, and more so in your cloud. Why? Because if you're somebody in your company is running their applications for hours in your on-prem data center, you will not incur any additional cost because you are already incurring the capital expenditure. But on the cloud, if someone authorized or unauthorized runs their application for hours on your AWS cloud infrastructure, you will pay a lot more money. And that is why it is critically important that we control identity and access management through the IAM service in AWS. What is IAM? IAM is the AWS service that help manage hundreds of thousands of users with a lot of control. If we are really serious about AWS or any other cloud for that matter, IAM is one of the first service that you need to master. Why that should be easy? It is based on role-based access control used by IAM, is one of the widely understood concepts across the IT industry, as it has been around since early 1970. Starting from early Unix, today's modern system, databases, application servers, multiple systems share this underlying concept of role-based access control. Even though IAM, AWS IAM, like all other services, will introduce new terminologies, but basic understanding of that role-based access control should make it very easy to understand IAM as well. Think ahead and plan ahead. Think about the users and departments. Do not postpone you have needing AWS access, because that's where not planning for IAM, not planning for user control is one of the sure way to lose money in AWS. So let's see. This is the diagram I have taken it from AWS documentation. So on the left top corner, we have the principal, the concept of principal. The principals can be a user, a living human being, a role that is assumed by a mobile app, federated users. Mobile app becomes federated users. They cannot, have permanent AWS access tokens, and your applications, right? So these are principal. Anything or anybody accessing AWS services becomes a principal, and then they send an authentication request. What is the difference between authentication and authorization? Authentication is the process of verifying that you are who you are claiming you are, and authentication requests are validated. We will talk about it using various means. But after you are authenticated, the next thing that comes in mind is your authorization. What is authorization? It's a JSON based document. To be simple, AWS has lots of services, and each one can be accessed using the management console, using CLI, and using language SDKs like AWS has simple software development kit for Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Ruby, and whatnot. So these are the ways your applications or you can access AWS services, and there are multiple ways to authorize the principals to access or deny AWS services. And these are actions, as I said. So EC2 instances, IAM resources, S3 service, RDS, DynamoDB, AWS core deployment services, all these can be controlled through the authorization, right? So let's see how the roadmap looks like. The first thing you need to talk about, to think about, if we have multiple departments that plans to use AWS, you may create an account for each department. AWS account is what I'm saying. Groups of users, each department may have job roles like engineer, DevOps, tester, project manager, etc. Create IAM roles for each job role. The moment you create IAM role, you can assign privileges to those roles. Permissions, AWS brings home lots of predefined privileges. You may not have to create a lot of privilege on your own, but if you want, you can create your own privileges as well. Next one, you need to automate user creation. People will come and go, and you need to make it really quick to create an AWS user and emailing their credentials to them. Assign groups. The moment you create a user, as part of the process, you may assign the predefined groups to those users, and groups has privileges. That's where the role-based access control comes. Groups instead of individual users get getting assigned the roles and privileges. The removal is very critical. I cannot overemphasize this. The moment people leave your company, you need to quickly remove them, otherwise they will continue to use your AWS infrastructure. Okay, mobile apps, they cannot have we will talk in detail about in a different video about how mobile apps get AWS authentication. They cannot have permanent credentials, so think about federated users, partners as well, same thing applies to them. Linked accounts we will talk about shortly, and single AWS invoice is also something we will talk about in the next video. So as I said, if you have questions, leave comments. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. If you like it, please subscribe, and as and when I will upload video, you will get notified. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.